International Olympic Committee has the honor of announcing that the Games of the 30th Olympiad in 2012 are awarded to the city of London.
July the 6th, 2005 was a milestone in British sport. The moment London won the right to host the 2012 Olympics. The nation rejoiced, and for an unknown 18-year-old just starting out in his athletics career, the announcement was huge.
That moment when it was said it was going to be in London was something really special and something I'll cherish, and a real feeling of what an opportunity. It just felt as if, right, that's the one I've got to aim for, that's where I want to go and hopefully do well, and we had 7 years to build towards it, which really did give a lot of athletes that chance and that time to really mature and build the experiences that they need in order to go forward and do well.
Reigning Olympic long jump champion Greg Rutherford is a natural sportsman. As a youngster, he excelled at football, spending 6 months on trial at Aston Villa, following in the footsteps of his great-grandfather, who played for Newcastle and Arsenal. But it was in the long jump that he showed most promise. By 2005, he was the European junior champion. However, the early stages of his senior career were blighted by injury, and he could only manage a disappointing 10th place finish at the Beijing Olympics. He thought about quitting the sport, but one goal drove him on.
I'd set that pressure on myself from a very, very young age, I guess, as I turned a professional. It was something that I'd said, I want to become Olympic champion. I went to Beijing, things didn't go particularly well for me. I'd matured quite a lot. I was in great shape. London for me was all about winning. And I think with the team that I put around me and the form that I was in going into it, it was sort of mine to lose at that time.
Greg's success led to him being thrust into the limelight. Overnight, he became a household name, and he was awarded an MBE from Queen Elizabeth II. His life, as he knew it, had changed.
After the Games, I think the one thing that other Olympians, Olympic champions and medalists had said before the London Games is, if you win, there's no words of advice or anything else that anybody can give you to prepare you for what's going to come. And they were completely right. As soon as it happened, it just turned into a complete roller coaster of non-stop activity, meeting people and going to events and doing different television shows and everything else. And I think at that moment you start to realise how important the Olympics really were.
Despite the glitz and glamour of the post-Olympic celebrations, the 27-year-old from Milton Keynes remained true to his roots.
Ultimately, life goes on no matter how successful you are, and I think the greatest thing is you see that with pets. They sort of love you no matter what you do, and I'm absolutely dog mad. My 3 dogs are sort of my pride and joy, and I love spending time, and I love just being able to come home. I live in a really beautiful area where I can sort of take them for long walks, sometimes do a bit of training in the woods, or just go, walk, think and spend time with them. It's nice to have that option and not just stress all the time. I can really relax and enjoy their company. They're always happy to see me no matter what, and that's something that I really, really enjoy. And I think it's hugely important for any person in any walk of life that you've got the ability to switch off and do other things. And for me, that's either baking or being with my dog. So simple things, I guess, in life.
Unfortunately for Greg, after the highs of Super Saturday came a series of lows. Rather than being rewarded with an enhanced deal from his main sponsor, Rutherford was shocked to be offered a reduced contract on terms he was unable to accept. On top of this, the coaching team which had guided him to gold disbanded.
After you've had a massive success in sport, picking yourself back up is always tough initially, but the problem I had is that the entire support team that I had in the build-up to the Olympics had completely disappeared. My coach had moved back to America, my main physio had moved back to Canada, the rest of the support team that was based out of London had disappeared. So I went on this sort of round-the-world trip, it felt, of trying to find myself athletically again. And it was a huge learning process for me. I took massively for granted what was on offer for me at the London facility that I used to train at. And I think that's more because you don't realise what you had and how much it's going to affect you when it's gone. But I've now moved on from that into a fantastic setup with a great coach and a brilliant young group.
Greg's troubles culminated in failure to qualify for the long jump final at last year's World Championships in Moscow. A recurrence of a hamstring injury restricted his leap to a modest effort, nearly half a metre short of his personal best.
It was different from other injuries I'd had. I mean, I'd had hamstring tears before, but then to actually fully rupture the muscle, it put me in a strange position because as much as it didn't hurt as much, I didn't actually have the ability to produce the power that I needed to jump the big distances. So we went into a fitness test and I could prove that I could jump, and I could still jump pretty far, but actually when it came down to it in a competition scenario, I needed that bit more, which having 3 hamstrings rather than 2 gives you.
Go on, boys, go home. Come on.
And I had to learn slightly the hard way on that side of things. So it felt like a huge missed opportunity and a great chance to bounce off the back of winning an Olympic title and going to World Championships and hopefully mixing it up for a gold medal there. But with these learning processes, you come out the other end with a much better understanding of what you do in your body. So from my point of view, it was great to experience that and go through it, and now I've learned how to go forward and hopefully perform at every other major championships going forward, knowing exactly where my body is and what I need to do to be able to win.
Throughout the trials and tribulations of elite competition, Greg has found solace in the peace and quiet of his kitchen. Despite having to keep to a rigorous diet during the season, the Olympic champ finds baking the perfect way to relax.
What I do enjoy about baking especially is that I find it quite therapeutic, and if you follow a recipe then you get a nice outcome at the end. And ultimately I love cake. There's only a short period of the time where I'm allowed to eat it, which is the end of the season. So generally I bake just for relaxing purposes, and then I just hand them out to people. I just find it's something that just switches me off a little bit. And you don't always want to be stressing about track and field or your job, as that is for me. So it's nice to have something else to do which would sort of take my mind off of things.
Greg Rutherford has put his post-Olympics troubles behind him, and he seems to be back on track, having recently broken the British record with a jump of 8 metres 51. One thing you can say for certain about this British athlete is that he won't be giving up his Olympic title without a fight.
Going forward, we're trying to get back into that groove a little bit, which I think we're nearly there. So going towards the Commonwealths and Europeans, I'm really, really excited. It'd be fantastic to walk away with 2 titles this year, and I think that's hugely possible. For me as well, I want to become a 28-foot plus long jumper, so I've got to jump a little bit further than I have now, but I'm knocking on the door, which is good. So for me, I want to become a regular jumper of 8.5 metres and above, and then head towards that World Championships in great shape, ready to mix it up again on the world scene. I want to become double Olympic champion, obviously. I mean, that's something that not many people have ever done, and not many people have managed to retain the title in the long jump either. So for me, have a great World Championships in 2015 and set myself up perfectly as the one to beat, and hopefully jumping very, very far in 2016. Hopefully do something special, that'd be great.
Subscribe now to our YouTube channel for the very best of Trans World Sports.